Ideas are cheap and worth nothing if you don't execute them. In today's video, I'm going to give you 4 neuroscience-based hacks that can help you stop overthinking and start executing. Hack number 1 is to reduce decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is you give your brain too many choices, and then for each of these choices, the brain needs to process what would this choice bring to me. For example, let's say I want to decide on whether I want to go to the gym, or I want to work, or I want to see friends. So for each of these choices, the prefrontal cortex needs to process, okay, if I do action A, this is going to happen. If I do action B, this is going to happen. If I do action C, this is going to happen. And when you give it too many different choices, your prefrontal cortex is overloaded and it can not work efficiently. So the best thing to do is to have as little possible choices as you can and to reduce decision fatigue. Hack number 2 is implementation intention, or how I like to call it, know when, what, and where. Why is this useful? Well, research has shown that humans are more likely to execute on a task when they know what they would do, when, and where. What you want to do is take your calendar, time block everything. You should know what you would be doing, when, and where. So it could be Monday, 10 a.m., I go to the office, and from 10 to 12, I work on my business. That was hack number 2, implementation intention. Hack number 3 is to work with your dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical that is released in our brain when we get a reward. So for example, I do an action A and I get a reward. However, for many important and difficult tasks, the reward is not immediate. This means that you will not get the dopamine released, and when the dopamine is not released, you don't feel motivated. That is why when we do something difficult and the reward is delayed, you want to pair this action with something that is going to give you reward quicker. For example, when I was learning French, the reward would be I speak French, I am fluent. However, becoming fluent in a language takes years to reach. So I decided to pair this studying French with another activity. So I say to myself, if I study French for 1 hour today, after studying French, I can go out with my friends. And in that way, I paired an activity that doesn't bring me an immediate reward with something that is more rewarding. When you're working on your business, you can say, for example, if I'm focused and I finish this presentation today, I can go and have fun with my friends. And that is going to motivate you throughout the day. It's going to release dopamine so that you can actually work on your presentation and then enjoy with your friends. Number 4 is to set deadlines. Research has shown that when you have deadlines, the time pressure will release a chemical in the brain that is going to make your prefrontal cortex more sharp and is going to increase focus. So that is why you want to give yourself deadlines that are realistic, because if deadlines are too short, you will be super stressed and then the stress might block you. If deadlines are too far away, there is no time pressure, so you won't be motivated. Let me give you again, I'm talking about my French, but I wanted to pass the C2 or the last level, which would give me a certificate that I can speak French at the level of a native person. I was thinking to do it in August, however, I figured out it's too short. I was overwhelmed and I couldn't focus when I was studying because I was so stressed. Then when I said I would do it in January instead of August, that seemed like too much time and I felt a little bit lazy. That's why I decided to challenge myself and to set the passing time in November, beginning of November. And that is why I have enough time pressure to work fast and to be focused, and at the same time I'm not overwhelmed. So these were the 4 brain hacks that can help you stop overthinking and start executing, which can be so important for your business. If you want to take this to the next level, I also offer one-on-one coaching for entrepreneurs or for other busy professionals. To schedule your first discovery call, you should click on the link that is in the description down below. So you just click on that link, you will have a Calendly page with available dates and times. Thank you so much for watching this video, and now it's time to implement these hacks that I gave you to stop overthinking and start executing.